Welcome back to the Shooter Shack here. So, got some snow coming down, and it was supposed to be rain. That's what they had said a couple days ago, but you know how weathermen are. It is not rain. We are getting snowed on again, so hopefully it stops soon because I've been shoveling nonstop. We're sitting at maybe 16 inches on the ground, which is not bad for North Idaho this time of year. It's just all of it's backloaded and coming at one time. So we've got almost all that this month, and it's all right. Spring's right around the corner. We're only about 90 miles from the Canadian border, so it's to be expected. Not as bad as some of the Northeast states are getting right now. They're getting hammered pretty good. I used to live in the Midwest, and lake effect snow is legit. We sometimes will get like a significant 12 to 16 inch snowstorm, but I haven't, when I got hit with snowstorms as a child over there, we don't get anything like that here. Not to that level. It's incredible what lake effect snow is like. So all you living over there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Today, coming out with just a couple news stories and some more layers that have been peeled back that have some fairly substantial significance. So we've got some uncovering of Social Security fraud because we did the Treasury. Then we moved on to, they did USAID, then they hit the US Treasury, and all those are still ongoing, obviously. These are things that'll take months and months to figure out. And then we have Social Security, which is up next, which is what's going on right now. And we'll touch on Social Security first. Social Security, we'll just give an example of something that they have uncovered. You know, the head of Social Security, she stepped down after trying to block the audit and the investigation. Initially, she was supportive of DOGE until it showed up at her front door. And then DOGE, doggy, however you want to say it. I'm an old crypto junkies from back in the day. So when it first came out, everybody called it doggy. And so, yeah, she's out. She's out. And then there's a lot. So go look at some of the actual articles and news releases and publications from the White House on the issue and from the commission itself. But an example is they were basically identifying illegal immigrants. They would come in, get their name or what their stated name was, create the identity, were ordered. This is under the Biden administration. And this is just one example. This is not the totality of the fraud that's gone on for decades. This is just one of the latest, examples for you guys. And then they would give them the Social Security number. And then what they would do is they would put in a code specific to basically, and it's a very hardline code. So it's a disability code for Social Security. And this would guarantee disability benefits for life, regardless of the person, more often than not, almost exclusively, did not have a disability that prevented them from working. But, it's just a massive, massive form of fraud to get payments into the hands of illegal immigrants as they tried to flood the country with this. Now, this is just another example of a multifaceted attack to erode the foundations of this country. Most of these people are not people who are, women and children looking for a second chance. A lot of them are lowlifes of society, people who've been released from prisons and pushed this way, or military-age men, which should never be on the immigration list. If they don't have a single military-age men, if they aren't bringing over women and children with them and they're a 27-year-old, they're not getting in. Okay, that's the quickest way to erode your country from the inside out. At least that's how it should be. So anyway, and I have my insurance licenses for life and health, among others, but so I've read and I understand what it takes for someone to qualify for disability and Social Security and the different tiers of that disability, right? Partial or, full disability benefits and, what you have to be, medically, what you have to show in order to qualify for that. And so for these people just to be given those lifetime benefits, disability benefits, is substantial. So crazy, not surprising at all. This is just another example of the massive fraud and corruption of our government for 50, 60 years. And this is just the latest one to be uncovered by the investigations and audits that are ongoing right now. So the good news about that is they always talk about, running up the deficits and shortages of funds for these programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, and all that. There's so much gosh darn money in the system. It's unbelievable. far more money is spent in fraud and corruption, as we talked about in our last video, than there is on these programs. So you get rid of the fraud and the corruption, all these programs are fine. They're completely solvent. So that is the good news about all of it, is that there is plenty to go around and to put into legitimate programs for, rebuilding this country, specifically things like infrastructure, right? So the next thing I wanted to touch on was the cartel war. So it looks like us going to war, the United States military and its border agencies going to war with the cartels, is moving from skirmish phase into kind of like guerrilla warfare phase. So U.S. Reaper drones are now being actively used at the southern border there with Mexico. And, that's significant because that is a branch of the Marine Corps, right? I think it's like Marine Corps Intelligence, something or other. I forget what the program is exactly, but essentially it means the Marines are, taking, the tip of the spear here as far as at least the reconnaissance and intelligence are concerned, which means you're going to have Marines and special forces right there if they're needed. And, because the command structures are being set up anyway. So all that's going to be there along with your National Guard. You have Texas State Guard along their border. And so we see an amassing of military assets, which we've never had before. We've very rarely has legitimate military branches been deployed to stem the tide of issues coming, with the cartels. And a lot of people think cartels, they think drugs, and certainly, yes. So, but it's everything. It's anything and everything that the corrupt political elite and corporate elite in this country want to do, and to make money and gain power. So it's the drugs, it's the gun running, it's the espionage, it's the bad actors from foreign states getting their people in here to possibly commit act of terrorism or at least set up sleeper cells. It's the human trafficking. I mean, it's all the bad stuff. The whole gamut is going along that border. And it is not difficult to curtail that. I mean, we've been letting it was an open door policy, right? It was being encouraged by the last administration. So, and because of that, these organizations, these cartels, not only do they have the political connections and the banking connections on the U.S. side, but they have substantial, military hardware and resources to they've got ways, they've got they've got legitimate compounds, they've got legitimate weaponry, they've got their own reconnaissance, and, not to the extent of the United States military, but they are a formidable guerrilla force. And that is why it's going to take, branches of the armed services to combat that, because this is nothing that, Border Patrol or the State Guard can handle. They need the support on the federal level. So that is outstanding that is happening. And we have so many issues and so many bad actors that have already gotten into this country, but you can't begin to root all that out until you close the door. It's like bailing water out of a sinking ship, right? You got to slow down or stop that leak in the hull before, you're spending all your energy bailing water, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. The ship's going down anyway. So this is the right strategy. And you also have a two-prong attack, because now you're with the audits of all these, the USA program, the Treasury, the Social Security, whatever else is yet to come. You're starting to connect some financial dots, and you're also going to be able to connect some incoming financial dots with the money from these cartels. So you're going to see where incoming money is slowed down as far as, where it's getting money laundered to, who's responsible for that, who are the ones who are benefiting from it. And some of those, spider webs that are being investigated, they're going to connect between these two instances that are occurring, because there's a lot of, our financial institutions are running money laundering for the cartels, and that is involved with political elites. And so when you start uncovering the criminality with the fraud, you're going to be able to just add one more piece to the puzzle of, this giant global conspiracy that's been going on for decades. And so these two things, as though they seem separate, there's certainly some elements that are collaborating with the other side. Stumbling over my words there, I apologize. So it's very encouraging, and it is amazing what, you know, we're so used to government dragging its feet on everything, but that's because they're busy doing backdoor, you know, deals with their buddies or payoffs or this and that and the other thing. They're not actually focused on getting done what X, Y, and Z is intended to do. When you have the resources and manpower of a government that is heading in one direction, things can get done remarkably quick. And so that is the, you know, the part of this that is encouraging is that, you know, it looks like we are in an era here where things are legitimately attempting to be, you know, not only uncovered, but then corrected, solved, and then new procedures put in behind them that's going to help eliminate this going forward. And, you know, it's getting overwhelming public support, as it should, and that's going to help solidify it for years to come, at least make it so it's just not so out there and so massive and catastrophic in the levels of fraud and corruption that have been going on. I mean, it's been so in our face for so long. This isn't people, you know, a few bad actors behind the scenes. This is catastrophic in the amount of resources that were being wasted and diverted for these activities. So it's very cool. I'm very happy to see it. It doesn't, like I said, you know, the war is just getting started when it comes to all this. And it's, you know, 5th generation warfare at its finest. It's all the elements. It's not, you know, World War II, tanks in this town against tanks in that town, and they meet each other in a, you know, in a potato field in Germany. That's not how this guy goes. There's so many non-state actors and state actors and people on the inside. It's wild. It is very wild. But the war is getting pulled out into the open for all to see. And hopefully, like I said, this is the first step to getting to a rebuilding phase, which is what we all want to get to. You want to get through this ugly, mucky, nasty situation, you know, as quickly and swiftly as possible so that the energetic rebuild can begin, because that's where society prospers. And, you know, enthusiastic energy is you know, there's just new vitality brought into the populace at that point. I have no idea, couldn't tell you. We'll just have to track the progress as it goes when that's going to happen. Hopefully we get there before the end of Trump's term. But again, we'll just see. It's all up in the air at this point. So, you know, I would encourage, you know, look into some of the interesting aspects and there's a lot of journalists that are talking about the Social Security issues in particular, and you're really going to start to gain a full spectrum picture of how insane and how fraudulent the system has been for so long. It is wild, and you know, there's hopefully better days to come. Okay, we'll leave it at that, and hopefully I do another video today. I wanted to do something else, but this snow might be screwing me all up. My parts are here for one of my vehicles, so I'm going to do some wrenching in the snow. My fingers are already turning red out here. So this should be fun, as I got to get under the vehicle and do suspension parts. And unfortunately, I don't have a heated garage to do that at this location. But hey, man, it's all good. Just getting it done. Talk to y'all again soon. Bye.